welcome back. It has been a hot sec and I feel like I have started every video saying that lately, but it's fine. I'm just here to give you a very belated year of 2023 reading wrap up. So let's wrap it up and move on. Okay, starting off 2023 really strong. I read The Bell Jar. What a way to start the year. Like I couldn't have manifested anything good with that. I see why it's a classic. It did unsettle me a lot. If you struggle with mental illness, this book is gonna ring like a little true to home at times in like a really unsettling way. I have never experienced like quite the mental breakdown that Sylvia Plath does in this book, and I think it's difficult knowing like obviously how Sylvia Plath's life ended up, you know? And it's not like totally nonfiction, but like a lot of it she did draw from her real life. So it's a tough read, but I think it's an important read. Would recommend. The Twilight series. 2023 was the first time that I had ever read Breaking Dawn and Eclipse. Growing up, I wasn't allowed to read these because of the adult content. So imagine my surprise when I finally picked these up at the age of 23, whatever. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. Nothing happens. It's a total fade to black situation. It's less than a fade to black. I don't understand why I wasn't allowed to read these. Eclipse is the strongest of the Twilight series, I would say. I don't want to talk on these too much. These aren't new. This isn't new to anyone. But you guys know how much I am obsessed with Twilight forever and always. If you have only watched the movies and you have not read the books, I highly recommend you read the books. For me, they painted Jacob, especially in a very different light and not in a good way. So I think the books, I would recommend. There's interesting things that happen, and that is a lot due to who Stephenie Meyer is as a person. And that's a whole different conversation that we will not go into in this video. Thursday Murder Club series, book 2 and book 3. Loved them. I think I enjoyed book 3 a little bit less than the rest of the series. It just didn't have the same like charm to it as the rest, and that might because it was a bit darker of a book. It's still lighthearted. I still recommend, still love the series. The series overall is a 5-star series, but it definitely does get a little bit more ouchy as you go on, which of course is natural because you want to stay interested. Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This, I mean, can you tell how much I enjoyed this? Like, this was everything to me. The series was everything to me. The album was everything to me. This definitely deserves a reread. My heart's not ready for it, though. Love on the Brain. The Love Hypothesis was one of my favorite reads for 2022, so I was really excited for this one. This didn't let me down. I gave this a 4.5. Is it copy and paste from the first one? Yes. But is that why I liked it? Yes. 7 Days in June. I started this one out as a 5 stars, and the more that time has gone on, it's definitely just a 4 stars. This book is phenomenal. Do not get me wrong, but I don't think about it. That's kind of like a requirement for 5 stars for me. Like, it really has to like stick with me. So what I loved about this book is that it's super diverse. You have POC characters, you have characters that struggle with like chronic illness, which is becoming more common in books, but it's definitely still rare and like stigmatized. There was some like cringy, like millennial humor in this book. I don't even know if it was millennial. It was just honestly, it was cringy and I didn't understand it. And that would like take me out of the moment. I think that's maybe what like is holding back the book a bit. But overall, like a really powerful book. Nora Ephron's Heartburn. It's a really short fictional story. It's about a woman whose husband cheats on her and she's pregnant and she's like going through this like whole, you know, should I stay with him, should I not? This is very much I like to describe Marvelous Mrs. Maisel if Mrs. Maisel was a chef instead of a comedian. I love this. I ate this up. I tabbed this. There's a lot of like really, really good insights on like dynamics within a marriage and like how the patriarchy is woven in there, and just like so relatable to me. Maybe this should have been like a sign for me last year when I was reading this and relating to it so much. What sucks about this book is that it's also dated in a lot of ways, and I feel like that's like even like too buttoned up way of putting it. There's racism and homophobia in this book, and it's really upsetting because I really related hard to a lot of other stuff in this book. It's very witty, and like the female main character is like just really powerful and easy to relate to, but then there's just like stuff in there that's in there because of the author. There's really no excuse. So I don't like to talk about this book often because it's like recommending this as a white woman that's very much like white woman feminism. Being like, this book is so insightful and I got so much out of it, when there's like blatant racism and homophobia in it. Why do people have to, why? Stop mucking up your books. Be a good person, perhaps. So read it, don't read it, take it with a grain of salt. Ali Hazelwood's Loathe to Love You. I needed more at this point, so I was going into her backlist. This is great if you want to read her novellas. They're just all in here, and they kind of like all intertwine together because all the three girls are friends. This is definitely the weakest of her works, right? They're novellas. You don't get the same time to delve into all of these characters and like really get into it, but they're still strong for novellas, and I still think about these from time to time. By Thread by Lucy Score. This book was really hyped up. This book gave me the biggest ick. I don't understand how you girlies love Dominic, whatever you want to call him. Dom is icky to me. I'm concerned for you guys if you think he is like the epitome of mankind. Big ick. I didn't like him at all. Guys, did we read the same thing? People can have different opinions. What was this? No. Ugh. Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This was a 4 stars. This book is just so fantastical. I love it so much. It's just gorgeous. The story was great. Jax, if you have not read this book and you are a Draco girly, that's all I'm gonna say. Stoneblind by Natalie Haynes. No hate to you, Natalie Haynes. Like, really no hate to you. I think this is partially me hating Greek mythology and like finding that out through this book. Also, this book is not like, this is my hate, okay? This book is not what it is sold to be. This is supposed to be a Medusa retelling. Medusa is like a quarter of the book. There are perspectives from crows, perspectives from like, I think there were like perspectives from rocks. There was more perspectives from other people than Medusa that weren't even people. Like, what do you mean? It was just, no. And all of the characters were so hateable. I hated every single character except Medusa, I guess. Like, I hated them so deeply, it was impossible to read that book. So, infuriating. And I've been told that this is just Greek mythology. Like, they just all suck. Why? Okay, so why? No thanks. Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates. This is my favorite series of all time. I love it so much. No books will ever make me feel like these books make me feel. These books rip you to shreds. They put you together for a split instant just to rip you to shreds even more again. Just over and over and over and over. And the way that she writes is so beautiful. Oh my God, Jessa Hastings, what a mind. You see, and like, Magnolia Parks, I was not even annotating that much. I need to reread this. Shady Howell by Juno Black. This is such a cute, cozy little like murder mystery read. All the characters are forest, wood, animals. This is a great springtime read. Tomorrow. I give it 3 stars. That's not a bad rating, by the way. I did enjoy reading this book, but it was not for me like it is for everyone else. I really did not like Sam. I didn't feel bad for him. Like, at parts I did, but like, I think he's kind of a miserable person. He really, I thought, was kind of like a bad guy. Our female character, what is her name? I can't remember her name. She definitely is not perfect. She's not perfect, but I could understand her a little bit more. It just was not quite for me, I think. Guys, the bangs, this video is just me totally messing with my bangs the whole time, and I apologize for that. This is me now, though, so get used to it. If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. No. Again, the girlies love this. Did we read the same book? This book convinced me that, like, for a while I thought, like, ooh, I shouldn't be reading YA. I think YA is the problem. No, YA is not the problem. I love YA. This character, the main character of this book, is the problem. She is so annoying. There's no communication in this book. It's just like peak, like, teenage drama, teenage angst, and I don't feel bad for her. Like, I do, but I don't. Like, girl, a lot of things could have been avoided if you would have just, like, stopped with the freaking tiara and, like, grew a pair. Rock, paper, scissors by Alice Feeney. You've probably heard of this. I'm here to say the rumors are true. This is a great thriller. Great if you are reading this during like a snowstorm. I could not guess anything that happened. The only thing that annoyed me about this book is that I still had like unresolved questions at the end, and that ticked me off. I don't want to be making my own theories. The book is done. I want the theories to be presented. I want, this is what happened. You know, that didn't quite happen all the way. So, Heartstopper. I have talked about this series a million times. This series is just 5-star series. Nothing is more wholesome. I love the show. Everything just chef's kiss. Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is also overhyped to me. I know people say like you just have to like get past the first one and into the series, but after reading this, I just have no motivation to keep going. Like I just don't care. So I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna keep going. Beach read. This book destroyed me. Yeah, really destroyed me, really got me. Felt a little personal. Cried a lot. People we meet on vacation like this a little less. I think that's the general consensus. This is still a good book. It's nowhere near other Emily Henry. I gave this a 4 stars. It's probably more like a 3 stars now that I think about it. I don't ever think about this book at all. Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood, and I was pretty disappointed. Again, I have a whole reading vlog on this, so I won't say that much more. This is 3 stars. This is my least favorite Ali Hazelwood, but it's still good, so, you know, enjoy. It's a City of Bones series. I'm missing the first one because I lent it out to a friend. This was a deep obsession of mine. I almost got pulled back into it like a month ago. I rewatched the movie. The movie's not good, but the casting, hubba. Oh, that's also what I was gonna say about Once Upon a Broken Heart. Draco girlies and Jace girlies, you're gonna like Jax. You're gonna like Jax. Flawless by Elsie Silver. I ate this up. Yeehaw, am I right? Am I right, ladies? Heartless, did not enjoy as much. There was like 1 or 2 scenes that particularly kind of ruined it for me. Didn't love that, so that was a 2 star. That was disappointing. The Housemaid, I just didn't like the twist to this book. I felt like very much like, oh, I can't really say without spoiling it. If you know, message me, we can talk about it. Anne of Green Gables, or I should say I reread. It is so nostalgic because it was a childhood like love of mine, and I just love Anne and the way she views the world, so highly recommend if you have not read this. We have also talked about this book a lot, so all I need to say is that this is 6 stars, 7 stars, all of the stars. I cried like 9 times reading this book, like a stupid amount, like amount that people are like, oh sure, no, really. And I don't think I could ever read this book again, especially not now. Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blau. This is like the best coming of age. This is the coming of age of coming of ages. So good, highly recommend. Great summer read. The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. I don't think I'm gonna finish the series. I wanna watch the show, so I feel like I should finish the series, but I just didn't enjoy it enough. It was kind of hard for me to get through. I think the like jumping back and forth in time kind of confused me a bit. Ellie just, I don't know. Just no. No, not for me. Not for me, but maybe for you. I went to a whole giant days deep dive. I read every single volume, which I think there's like 17, like something crazy volumes. This is about 3 friends in college in the UK, and it's just their antics. It's really funny and lighthearted. It's great. Done and dusted. It was a bit insta-lovey. I was like, oh, this kind of happened really fast, but it did scratch the itch that Flawless left me with. So, How to Sell a Haunted House. This is my first Grady Hendrix. Probably will be my last. I don't think the like campy horror genre is for me. I do think about this book often though, because it just was so weird. What a weird little puppet. And the book just kept going and going. It was like a ridiculous like horror movie where you're like, seriously? That was a 1 star because by the end of it, I was just so annoyed and like embarrassingly scared. Genderqueer, that was another graphic novel that I read. This is a great memoir. It is about this person's just gender and sexuality journey of discovering. It's really great. It was my first introduction to neo-pronouns. I think it's like very insightful, especially if you were a cis person, so highly recommend that. Fourth Wing, everyone's obsession. It gave me the magic of like what the Harry Potter universe was to me for so long again. It's just a really easy world to get immersed in. Is the writing perfect? No. Sometimes it's a bit like cringy, but like overall, just such a great, enjoying read. Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. This was just not what I thought it was gonna be. I was a bit frustrated by the ending of it. I can't say anything without spoiling. It's a cute fall read, like it takes place at Pumpkin Patch, so that's great if you want to get in that like feeling. But then just the story of it, I was like, huh? A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I'm obsessed with this series. All I'm gonna say is female rage. Just strong female character, love her. I know people are like, whoa, this one was crazy and like, why did that happen? I am so for it. I am so for the way that this book went. Like, just incredible. If you haven't read these, read them right frickin' now. The Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So another YA mystery. You've probably heard people talking about this. They're so good. They're so easy. You can just jump into them. It is very much like bingeable crime TV in a book. So good. From Bad to Cursed. This is the second in the series. I loved Payback's a Witch. This one was nothing like that. Really let me down. This was a 2-star. The Witch is Back, which I have so much beef with. Please go read my Goodreads review if you want to know in depth. What I will say is, why is a book about witches? Why does it have purity culture here? Purity culture. And also this man, I hate this man. He sucks. He's the worst. 1 star. We Have Always Lived in the Castle. This is a really short, like spooky-ish read. Really interesting. There's some strong themes here. It takes like a little bit to get into, but I think it's interesting, and there's like a lot that you can discuss about this book. You Again by Kate Goldbeck. This was sold to everyone as When Harry Met Sally, but present day. This is a mockery of When Harry Met Sally. I did not like this. What did I give this? 2 stars? That's too high. I hated that. But this cover is really cute, so I will give it that. Kaz? Guys, Kaz? When he stabs a man's eye for you? Throws him overboard? Men these days, they don't like do that, you know? They don't even want to pick up the bill, you know? But Kaz? Also, Found Family. The Found Family's great. Don't want to underscore that. I got a little carried away. Check and Mate, Ali Hazelwood's first YA. I had low expectations for this, especially since I didn't love Theoretically. But wow, it really blew me out of the water. It was so good. 4 stars. I still think about it. Who knew chess could be sexy? I wish the ending hadn't been rushed. That's it. Loveless by Alice Oseman. This is a really great book to learn about asexuality and aromantic people. I think the storytelling at times felt like dragged out. I think this could have been a bit shorter. Really like wholesome book on friendship and like discovering your identity. This book caused quite the uproar in the book community, and I really enjoyed this book, and I did a whole reading vlog on it, but then I got nervous to put it up because there was a lot of discussion going on. I love this author, and I think she has handled the situation with a lot of grace, and I think in the best way that you can expect of someone in this situation. That being said, it doesn't like make it better, you know what I mean? It doesn't erase hurt that it's done to communities. I don't know, but I'm hopeful that the author will, you know, be better going forward and has already taken like great steps. So that being said, there's still some other things that people had issues with this book. I should probably say what the book is. You guys are probably confused. Never by Jessa Hastings. People had some concerns about grooming in this book. I didn't see it that way. That doesn't mean that it's not that way. I did have my own frustrations with this book, to be clear. Again, there's a lot of great insights here about when you were first like getting into relationships and you have your first love and like learning what is acceptable and what's not, and like finding yourself like making yourself small to fit into a relationship better. And like there are just so many great insights and quotes in here that like really hit deep for me. And also, I love Jameson, guys. I really love Jameson, and I know that people had their like grooming concerns, and I think those are totally valid. But Hot Pirate. I'm just a girl. The ending really, really annoyed me. It really annoyed me, but this is gonna be a series, so hope she'll make it up to us. Discuss amongst yourselves. Inheritance games. This did not suck me in like the Naturals did, and like you guys have all been talking about the Inheritance games, so I was a little confused, but I think the issue is that I was reading or listening to this on audiobook, and the narrator was so bad, and she was trying to do like 4 different Texan accents for all of the brothers, and that was horrific. So I think that maybe it is not all on the book's fault. That being said, I have purchased the rest of the series. I need to read them. And I mean, listen, Grayson? I think we've all learned that I like a morally gray man. This Winter by Alice Osman. That's like a novella in the Heartstopper series. Really cute, easy to read. That was 4 stars. Gives you like an insight into like a time period of the books that like isn't, I don't know. It's interesting. Killjoy. This is like it's a prequel, but it's not related to like the main plot of the series, but it just like shows you the character in a different light. It takes place at a like murder mystery dinner party. It's fun, it's entertaining. I read this over Christmas. It's just a quick, nice read. Heartstopper yearbook. That is like, it's less of a book, and I mean it kind of is. There's like some mini comics in it. It was cute. I think I don't know, I didn't rate that because it's not really much of a book. It's just kind of like funsies. 5 Tuesdays in Winter by Lily King. Lily King wrote my favorite book, Writers and Lovers. So I've been meaning to like get to her backlist. So I read this, and this is a collection of short stories. Some of these short stories like seriously will stay with me forever. They're so impactful, and some of them I was like, that's it. Some of them are just not as fleshed out as the rest of them, and that's, you know, that's gonna happen. They're not all gonna like hit for like one person either. I love her writing. I love her writing so much. Highly recommend if you like a short story collection. That was it. I read 91 books in 2023. It was a great year of reading. I didn't think I'd read that much at all, but I did, and that was with like some major reading slumps. So, you know, if you're in a reading slump right now, don't feel bad about it, because you will get back on that horse and ride it. Really excited for the next year of reading. Keep me honest, I've been slacking on here, but it's good. It's good for me, and I'm so happy to have all of you guys here. Like, that was a huge blessing for 2023, a fun little thing. So yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for sticking around, caring about my opinions, and I'll see you some more in 2024.